long time no see. Marshall Stamper, Tarek Finn, Taipei BJJ. We're talking about UFC 300. Very excited for this.
It's very exciting.
It's probably the biggest day in UFC history. And there's been a lot of big days in UFC history. This is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, some big fights.
This is the only time where, a typical UFC event, they have 12 to 14 fights. The main card, which is what people know about. They have the prelims, which is a couple fights before that. Sometimes they play it on TV. And they have the early prelims that usually nobody knows about. If you see videos, nobody's in the crowd. It's hard to find them.
Yeah.
This is the first time where the first early prelim is a fight you have to see. This has never been done. A card's never been this stacked. For the first prelim might be fight of the year. What do you think?
It's possible. It's possible.
First fight, Deiveson Figueiredo against Cody Garbrandt, two former champions. Deiveson Figueiredo, the God of War. Probably the most exciting dude in the UFC. I don't know why this guy's not a huge superstar.
I think
They say he's too small.
I think he gasses a little.
He gasses?
I think he gasses
When, in his Moreno fight?
Yeah, but I guess Moreno's such a cardio machine. It's hard to. It's easy to say you gas against a cardio machine. So, which you will. Yeah, you will if you against a cardio machine. So Cody, what do you think? Cody's had some ups and downs.
He's had the most ups and the most downs of any fighter I can think of.
Yeah.
He was former champion. He looked incredible. He was at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber, and then they had a falling out, and I don't know what happened. He started losing some fights he probably shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
He had a streak where he would get in a fight and just start throwing bombs, like with his eyes closed. And a couple times it worked, and it's the coolest thing anyone's seen. Just
The knockout.
He gets knockouts,
Yeah.
but also he got knocked out that way. And so I don't know what's up with this guy these days. I don't know how old he is. I don't know how his body's doing. And I know he's got a crazy hard fight in Deiveson Figueiredo. This is honestly an incredible matchup. And Cody Garbrandt, he's a big question mark. Nobody knows.
Cody's 32.
He's only 32.
Yeah, he's not
He could be entering his prime after having this like roller coaster of a career. Or he could be a little punch drunk. He could have some other things going on in his life. We don't know.
I think I'm going to talk out of school here. I think Cody is just a little bit too much of a boxer. I think to be more of a one-dimensional boxer, something like that, you have to be really good at it. But yeah, because everybody's so good at everything else that, or even if he might be really good at other things too, but maybe he just likes to box.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's a very dangerous strategy against Deiveson Figueiredo, the God of War.
Yeah, and Deiveson has some heavy hands too. Mm-hmm. Despite, I'm sure he has a height disadvantage too, but he has some heavy hands. So yeah, it could be a very exciting match. I don't think it's gonna be nobody's gonna be just laying on top of the other guy.
Do you think this fight's so exciting it's worth getting up at 6 a.m. to watch it? What do you think?
6 a.m.
Fight start at 6 a.m. in Taipei.
Yeah, it's gonna be I don't think I'm gonna be able to see that.
I'll be getting up at 9:30, watching the main card, and rewatching all the prelims later in the day. It's a very exciting day, especially here in Taipei. UFCs are on Sundays, which is very nice. Quite like it.
Yeah.
Brunch with the UFC, a day like this weekend, you can watch all day. 8 hours of fights.
Yeah, it's nice. So the next fight, though, I'm pretty excited about. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. The reason why I like it,
absolute legends.
And it's not. Sorry, I'm gonna move this a little bit. It's not Bobby Green fighting a young lion that's coming to murder him. It's. I think I like this match. I think it's a good matchup. What do you think?
I think his construction noise is killing me. I apologize if it's coming through for you guys. Things have been chaotic since the eclipse. He says there's no relation.
But there was an earthquake right before the eclipse. The earthquake was before the eclipse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
There
was no eclipse here, though.
It was at nighttime. So the energy is felt.
We didn't see it, though. Okay.
What are we saying? Bobby Green, Jim Miller?
Yeah, I like
a
because
fun
they're
one.
both Jim Miller. I think does Jim Miller have the most wins
He
in
might.
the UFC?
He might. He's got a couple like weird records.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know Jim Miller. He was never champion. He hasn't main evented a pay-per-view. Probably some fight nights.
Yes.
But he's just been there forever, and he's always fun to watch.
He's got
and a very
37.
good
He's got
guy.
37 fights. 30 or more than 37. 37 wins, 17 losses.
He's lost 17 times.
Yes.
And people still like him.
Yeah.
So they got him on this card. It was special. He's the only fighter to fight on UFC 100. He fought on UFC 200. Now he fights on UFC 300. And hopefully he retires after this, because that's a lot of fights.
But he's been winning though. Recently he's been winning.
He's
so
been
it's
winning,
hard to,
which is a great time to retire.
Yes,
that's what I
true.
like to see.
It's the most difficult time to
Yeah.
retire too, because you still got more in you.
But I
feel.
think there was a discussion after his last fight. The plan was to retire. Oh, but if I get on UFC 300, ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And so they got him a good, worthy
Yeah, they gave him
adversary.
Bobby Green. They didn't give him
a good fight.
like a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
This 19-year-old has been murdering
You're
everybody.
gonna fight Bo Nickal.
yeah. So I like this fight.
was a
Bobby
good
Green
one.
versus Jim Miller. Did Bobby Green get knocked out in his last fight?
Bobby
Or
Green,
was
he got
choked out?
murdered by
Got
Jalin
choked
Turner.
out. Yeah. Oh yes. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So Bobby
I'm thinking
Green,
of the
he
one
went through
before
one
that
of
where he got
the-
choked out. Yes. So he has two straight bad finishes against him.
And so the knockout with Jalin Turner was tragic. Jalin Turner pieced him up on the feet, got him down face down on the ground, dropping huge bombs. Jalin Turner has these huge long arms coming down, getting Bobby Green, an unconscious man, taking lots of hits before the ref stepped in there.
Yeah.
And we never know like what the effects of that are. You know, taking hits after you're unconscious. Like getting knocked out's like bad enough, right? There's always like caution around. Oh, you got knocked out, probably concussion. But if you get knocked out and then hit more, like who knows? That's entering crazy territory. So definitely some guys to keep our eyes on. Hopefully these guys don't fight many more times. But very excited for this one. Bobby Green, Jim Miller.
Jim Miller is my prediction. Jim Miller by submission.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know what
I hope
the
so.
submission is.
Yeah, old guys getting submitted.
I mean,
is so much
or
better
it's
than
going to
being
be
knocked
Bobby
out.
Green knocking him out.
Yeah, I think so. It could happen.
Yeah,
Bobby Green's slick.
I slightly see more Jim Miller submitting him, but Bobby Green could knock out Jim Miller.
It's a real fight.
Yeah, he has a very unorthodox style, and the way
Bobby
he
Green.
moves and the way he keeps his hands down and his head moving, everything is about his style is very strange. And Jim Miller probably hasn't encountered a lot of guys like Bobby
A lot of
Green.
strange guys.
Yeah.
What was the headline? Bobby Green isn't gonna fight anymore, and then you read into it, and it's because he's changed his name to King.
Okay.
Something like that. It's like Bobby Green's done
clickbait.
fighting. My name is King. King
King Bobby Green.
The character of a guy, absolute legend. Next fight, Jessica Andrade. There's very few, unfortunately, very few women fighters in the UFC that are must-watches. Jessica Andrade is one of them.
Yeah.
Always exciting, always awesome.
Yeah.
She won the title by, what was it? Thug Rose had her in a Kimura, and Jessica Andrade picked her up and slammed her on her head for a knockout to win the title. And she's been awesome matches ever since. Marina Rodriguez, I don't know this lady. Looks tough. 17 wins.
17 wins, 3 losses.
If she's fighting Jessica Andrade, that's a big opportunity for her as someone that big fans don't know. Who knows?
Yes.
Should be fun.
So it should be fun. Yeah, that's a wild card. I don't know much about Rodriguez either, so I can't say.
But Jessica Andrade is always worth watching. Always.
I mean, let's see. I'm gonna say I can't say honestly. Probably if Marina is much younger than Andrade, then I'd go with her. But
Oh yeah,
I don't
based
know.
on age.
Based on age. That's
Tarek's a big ageist.
Yes.
That's what most people say about him. But it's a fair point. Jessica Andrade has been in there with absolute killers.
She has a lot of miles. Oh, they're both. Oh, she's 36 too.
36-year-old Brazilian.
Rodriguez is not young either.
No.
Yeah. So
But a step up in competition.
yeah.
Jessica Andrade. She's fought the best of the best. Knocked out Thug Rose with a slam. I forgot what else she did.
Andrade is
Andrade
actually younger than her. She's 32.
Only 32, with lots of experience.
Lots of experience.
And head trauma.
So, yeah. I'm going to go with Andrade.
And a great walkout. Jessica Andrade, like Alex Pereira, walks out with traditional garb. He uses a big headband with big feathers.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Andrade on this one. I'm not sure how it's going to finish. It may go the distance.
I think it's going to end in a
knockout.
13-strike combo. Just kind of wail on this girl.
It's possible, too. Jalin Turner versus Renato Moicano. Is that how I'm saying it?
Yeah. Renato Moicano.
What do you think of Renato?
He's a character, man. He keeps winning fights and saying funny things on the microphone. I wish I could do an impression of him, but I didn't prepare. Sorry, guys. He says great things.
Yeah.
And then Jalin Turner, we're just talking about, he absolutely murdered Bobby Green. He's got these like crazy long arms with like lots of power.
Yeah, long legs, long arms, and he fights very long. I love fighters like this is like my favorite archetype of fighter. Guys that are really long and they use it really well.
That's why I'm Tarek's favorite fighter. Very long.
Takes advantage of everything, keeps everything on the end of things. I like how Jalin Turner strikes.
So this is definitely like a dark horse on the card for like what could become the most exciting fight. Not a lot of people are talking about this one, but definitely all these are must watches. I'll keep saying that. It's so important. So these are the early prelims. That's the early prelims.
Early prelims. That's like
That's better than every fight night of the past year.
It's true. It's true. I'll agree with that. They've gone all out for this 300 card. This one, Diego Lopes. Sodiq Yusuff.
You know this Diego Lopes guy?
Vaguely.
We've talked about him a couple times.
Yeah?
Yeah, he came in short notice a while back and put on a jiu-jitsu clinic against an unbeatable Russian guy.
Who was it? What was that? I remember the clinic.
He like knee-barred him at the...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then he loses the decision.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he's just the most exciting guy to watch.
And he grapples a lot.
He grapples a lot. And so he's not like super high up in the UFC. He's only had a couple fights. And I don't know too much about Sodiq Yusuff. I heard the name a lot, so he's tough. I don't know what's going to happen in this fight, but I predict something that you will want to watch in slow motion. Some fights are so good, only in slow motion.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
I bet something very complicated is going to happen.
I was very impressed by Lopez's grappling.
Yeah.
Like he's almost like that specialist, kind of what we were looking for in Kron, you know?
Maybe. Yeah, more well-rounded jiu-jitsu specialist.
You have to be well-rounded. It's impossible now. Like,
yeah.
There's always a chance somebody's going to match you in what you're best at.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing this like full-time.
Yeah.
These guys
it's a real sport now.
Yeah, these guys are learning how to fight full-time, so what worked before is not always going to work. So yeah, Lopes by, I don't know. I don't know much about Yusuff. His record looks good.
His strategy.
His record looks good.
Tough guy.
Maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say.
He's a professional fighter, this man.
Yeah, it's hard to say for me, this one. Let's see, Holm versus Kayla Harrison.
Oof. What do you know about Kayla Harrison, man? You seen this lady?
I've heard about her, but I don't know that
You
much
don't know?
about her.
Okay, Kayla Harrison, two-time Olympic judo champion. She's been fighting in, I think, the PFL for a long time. And this is someone who everybody wanted to have in the UFC for a while, and this is her first time fighting in the UFC. So if you guys are listening to this, I recommend you check out a picture of Kayla Harrison flexing on weigh-ins, because it's absolutely terrifying. She might be like the strongest person in the UFC, pound for pound. It's possible. And then she's fighting Holly Holm. Holly Holm, most famous for her head kicking Ronda Rousey. Kind of kicked Ronda Rousey out of the UFC, kind of. It took a little while, but basically.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey was unbeatable, and then Holly Holm head kicked her.
Yeah.
So former champion, up there in age, lots of miles on her. But we'll see. Kayla Harrison might come in, dominate, using Olympic judo, which I haven't seen since Ronda Rousey. like a real judo champion. Very rare to see judo in the UFC. There's Ronda Rousey, Carl Parisian, and some guys do something sometimes. But to see someone come in basically just judo, just kind of clinch your upper body, throw you to the ground violently, and rip your arm off. It's always exciting.
Yeah.
I hope
she has an
Kayla
excellent...
Harrison can come in and do it.
It's possible. I mean, Holly Holm is...
Crafty veteran.
She's a crafty veteran. But yeah, she also has a lot of miles on her. She had a long boxing career.
Yep.
And she had some tough fights
Yep.
in the UFC.
Yeah, she had to fight Misha Tate.
Yeah. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Just the former champion. Former champion
So good
on
this
the
one.
prelims.
Former champion Aljamain Sterling. One of the best fighters out there right now. Going up a weight class. He got knocked out by Sean O'Malley to lose his Bantamweight title. Now he's fighting at Featherweight. And this is a real featherweight fight. Calvin Kattar, known as one of the toughest guys in the UFC. He's most famous for getting boxed up by Max Holloway. I'm sure they're showing that highlight a lot. Max Holloway's hit him going, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. Like looking away and hitting him.
Whoa.
That's Calvin Kattar. Most guys would not have survived to make it to that point where Max Holloway's just piecing him up. Most guys would have gone down.
Yeah.
So this is a great fight. You know, I'm sure Aljamain wants to come in, take him down, take his back, and get out there early. You can do that to everybody.
Yeah. I would love to see Aljo do that.
Yeah.
Growing up in weight, is that because was he always a little bit big?
I think it's like a bunch of things. He's big, he's had lots of surgeries, and his teammate is Merab.
Yeah.
And so Merab is right there for a title.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's just like a real like easy decision on his part. It seems like from the outside.
Go straight to fight my teammate.
Yeah.
Because you have to fight for the
other
belt.
option.
That's like the next fight coming in that division. So.
Merab deserves it. Aljo doesn't want to fight him. And so it makes sense on every platform just to go up a weight class. Because Aljo's big, man. Like I guess that was part of his strategy, was be bigger than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But part of that is you got to cut weight, which I don't know how people cut weight, man. I was thinking about I might do it for a tournament coming up. I got terrified.
How much weight?
Me? Like
much?
a pound.
Oh, that's not
Like nothing. But I'm just saying, because I used to do it. I used to do it in high school.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. Like it's one of the worst things about fighting.
The methodology is better now, especially if you just don't. Like for these guys in the UFC, they're definitely just cutting a lot of water. But I'm talking about with dieting, it's possible.
No.
But these guys are cutting lots of water.
So this is like a different terminology.
Yeah, I know.
Diet is what you eat to get your weight down. Cutting weight is water. Just getting water out. There's no food involved. It sucks. It's terrible. It's terrible for your organs. Dehydrating yourself. Yeah, it's exactly dehydrating yourself. And Aljo, like, I wish I didn't remember the number, but it's huge, man. Like, more than 20 pounds in a couple days.
Yeah.
And he's just the toughest guy in the world. So he's like, yeah, I do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's no way he likes it. There's no way that it's, like, that beneficial. I mean, it's a competitive advantage having a couple pounds on a guy, but how much energy are you losing? How, like, draining is that? Like, you're not sleeping, you're not, like, hanging out properly.
30 pounds.
Over 30 pounds.
Aljamain cutting 30 pounds.
So I think that's, like, and especially now in the UFC, they don't let him rehydrate properly.
And then they rebounds 20 pounds after.
Yeah, and not in the most healthy way. The healthiest way is to get an IV straight into your arm immediately after weigh-in, so you get direct hydration to your body. But because it's possible to use like EPOs or something in the same system, the UFC bans this. Not the UFC. Oh, I guess this was USADA. Maybe things changed.
Yeah, USADA changed the things with the needle. You think they'll change it back to allow IV?
I hope so.
I don't think so. I think it's
Why
hard
wouldn't
to...
you?
I think it's hard to maybe
let him use an IV
that.
and then drug test him.
Yeah.
Right?
Supposedly,
like if you use drugs, you lose all your money.
Yeah. Supposedly, the reason for the IV was that, or the ban on the IV is that it's a good way to hide or mask PED use. So.
Sure. I think there's a better system than not letting people do the healthiest thing available.
Yeah. I think ONE FC has tried it with eliminating weight cutting, but guys just miss weight. Like it's very hard. I think it's very hard to regulate the weight aspect.
It's so hard.
Yeah. But I think
because it's just such like it just sucks.
Because it's such an obvious.
Everything about it sucks.
It does suck, and it's kind of cheating, but it's such an obvious advantage. Like why would I not cut, like say me for example, why would I not cut 4 or 5 kg rather than fight somebody that's, and it depends. There's a window. Like 5 kg is not a lot to cut.
It's a lot, man.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot at all.
Cut?
I don't think so.
So I'll give you a counter example. Kurt Angle. You know Kurt Angle, WWE superstar. Before that, he was a legit wrestler in the Olympics. He wrestled at heavyweight, and he would only have to cut. I wish I could remember the exact number, but it was crazy small. Like the next weight class was like 2 pounds, like 1 kg, and he's just like, nah. Went out there, won the Olympics.
Yeah.
So there are other examples, but in the UFC, not many. Not many examples of someone walking around natural weight and then coming in and winning. Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah, Frankie Edgar was something like that.
Yes, that's a good example.
Career.
Yeah. Before they had the 145 division.
He didn't cut a lot. I mean, he was a lightweight.
Yeah.
He was the lightweight.
He fought at 155.
Yeah.
Closer to his natural weight.
Yeah, and he was the champ, and he was a great champion too.
Yep.
So it's possible.
Yeah, but these are the exceptions. So I understand that people aren't gonna just stop doing this.
Yeah. It's once you have the weights there, it's like an obvious. So you weigh 180. Yeah. So we just fight you at 170. Like the coach.
No, I'd be like 155.
yeah, 155 would be.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a strange part of the sport. I don't like it, but I don't know how you get rid of it. Just because, just having that benchmark there, people are going to try to always use that somehow to their advantage.
Yeah, and I'd like to hear from people in jiu-jitsu, like who's cutting weight. Because remember, I did it, this is when I stopped cutting weight. I was a white belt competing in Manila, and it was just a couple pounds. And I know from high school wrestling that if you run before a match, you can lose like a pound a mile. And I was in Manila, it was hot. And so I had on like sweat clothes, running in the Manila heat. And there's construction workers looking at me like, what?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh my God. Oh. And I made the weight. Thought I was fine. Halfway through my second match, my legs died. I'm not known for strong legs, quite the opposite. But having the feeling of them turn to jelly.
The day of the match.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is the same day.
Yeah.
In the UFC, it's what do they do now? Day before?
I think that's the day before. I think it's
morning
now
the day before.
The morning before. Yeah. So you get more than like a day and a bit. I don't know if they changed it back to the random or middle day, but that would be ideal. You have 2 days basically to put on your 20 pounds.
Yeah, a day and a half at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird system. Cutting weight.
So let's see.
To hear from guys.
But let's see how Aljo does without the ability to cut that weight, or at least I'm sure he's still cutting weight. He's still going to be cutting weight.
He might still be bigger.
He won't be cutting. He won't be cutting. I know that he's definitely going to be. If he's fighting at featherweight, he's definitely bigger naturally than featherweight. He's still
coming from champion, used to 5-round fights, at least preparing for them. This is I'm very excited to see how Aljamain Sterling looks.
Yeah.
And Calvin Kattar is such a tough dude that like this is a real test.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Probably Aljamain Sterling wins.
I think Aljamain. I go with Aljo. Even though he's going up in weight, just his skill.
Yeah.
I have confidence in his
ability.
Yeah. Remember, speaking of cutting weight, remember that Michael Johnson. Not Michael Johnson. Rumble Johnson used to cut down to 170.
And then miss weight by like 13 pounds.
You know, this is a thing that I've noticed. Not that I promote gambling, but I always notice that guys that miss weight, they just have a very high chance of losing the fight after.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like every time I notice
killed themselves?
Yeah. Because they miss weight, they have to go back and do this other try, like,
Yeah.
they have to really try to get it off.
And it's
then,
like a mental defeat.
and then to
admit
not
it.
be able to get that off,
Yeah.
that's I'm sure that puts some doubt in your mind. Like you couldn't
Immense, man.
you couldn't do
You
the
let down everybody.
Yeah, you let down everybody.
You lose money.
You couldn't accomplish the first part of the fight, the first requirement.
Yeah.
The first requirement. Like there's no requirement to be skilled. You just have to come there at this time.
Yeah.
You know? They're not gonna test your skill, but they're gonna test your weight. So
That's why they say
the one thing they're gonna test.
weight cutting is the fight before the fight. Some people say it's the real fight.
Unless you're fighting someone really good.
Unless you're fighting Yuri Prochazka. We're still in the prelims, guys.
Yeah, Yuri Prochazka is more difficult than weight cutting. Yuri Prochazka versus Aleksandar Rakic. I don't know much about Rakic. What do you
me
know?
neither. Tough guy, professional fighter.
Yuri is a very unorthodox striker.
Yeah.
Keeps his hands low.
Yeah.
He has a ponytail on top of his head.
He does.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few guys that might be super powered from the eclipse. He might be the only one who's tapped into
because
it,
his antenna,
knowing how to harness.
Through his antenna.
He saw it coming, he prepared. I didn't prepare anything. I don't know. There's construction in my house now. Yes. Things are chaotic.
We had an earthquake last week.
Yeah, an earthquake.
It was crazy.
I didn't do proper magic, but Yuri Prochazka might. Yuri Prochazka, former champion. He got the title from strangling. I don't know if it was strangle. He submitted Glover Teixeira with a bulldog choke, which you haven't seen in 25 years.
Oh, that fight! I was so emotionally involved in that fight. Like Glover, they both almost had it at so many different times.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. As far as like, not like. As far as like precise technique.
No. It gets very sloppy.
Just like two guys like tired.
Tired.
They're tired, but you could still see they're not quitting. Like they're still like, give it. Yeah, it was one of those, it gets you really, it was like a movie.
Yeah, it's kind of what people hope every fight is. Where they're not, because sometimes you see a fighter so prepared, so dialed in, it's unrelatable, right? Like that's impossible, right?
Yeah.
But you see those guys, and they're it's like it looks, that's how everyone thinks they would fight. Exactly. Yuri Prochazka against Glover Teixeira.
Glorious fights. Yeah.
So Yuri, he won that fight, became champion, then he tore his shoulder, gave up the belt, came back not that long ago, and fought Alex Pereira for the belt. In that fight, Alex Pereira knocked him out in Madison Square Garden to become double champ. Now Yuri, fighting on the prelims, he's right back in the hunt. He's top light heavyweight in the world. If he wins this, I don't know, maybe he fights for the belt. He's supposed to fight Jamahal Hill before. Jamahal Hill wins the belt and Yuri Prochazka wins his fight. Why not? That's the fight to make. This is a big fight. And this, I don't know how to say his name, Rakic?
Yes.
Is that what that is? We don't know much about him. But if he wins big, he probably fights for the belt. This is a big fight.
Aleksandar Rakic, 32 years old. Who's his last fight?
He's from Austria.
No, he lost to Jan Blachowicz 2022. That was his last fight. Yeah, his last fight was losing to Blachowicz. Oh, he beat Thiago Santos.
Yeah, so this is by far his biggest fight of his life.
Yeah.
And on the biggest stage. If he does well here, fighting for the title, probably.
Yeah, it would make sense. That seems to be the way. It seems to be the way things go. So, Jiri, I don't know. I like Jiri just because I know Jiri. I'm rooting for him in that match.
He's so fun and so weird. He trains by hitting trees.
Yeah, so I'm going for Jiri in that one. I like that. Yeah, hitting trees, that's crazy. I don't know if that's a good training modality, but mentally.
Is this real? Canceled?
Wait, but they put it up here.
How can they do that? So we're looking at the fights on the main card. It says Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, canceled. But if you look above, it's also there.
Yeah.
So canceled, not canceled? Was canceled, now it's not?
Maybe. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. I like this fight. Also,
So fun.
also another I like it when two older guys, or these guys are not even that old.
They're not
These
that
guys
old.
are just
They're
like, they've been
veterans.
fighting for a long time.
Yeah.
I like it when two veterans get to go against each other
Yeah.
rather than the wild card new guy that's been sweeping the scene.
Yeah. 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 This is just a fun fight. They're fighting for the BMF belt, which
Yes.
I can't believe they're still carries
It's so,
around
it's
a
so
BMF
it's so
belt.
WWE.
Yeah,
I'm the BMF.
but like unnecessary. Like they're actual champions in the UFC, and this one, like it's not even linear.
Yeah,
like
it's about that they just-
Masvidal had it,
they
and
just
then
make
Gaethje
up.
has it, and now he has to defend it. What? Why? These guys could just fight. It'd be just as
I
exciting.
like it though. The it's very silly, but I
so silly.
I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know why. And I don't know why it's important to me that who has the BMF.
It's
belt.
just he carries it.
You know what it is, the BMF though? It's kind of like a brand. It makes you're like the bad boy. It makes you like the king anti-hero of the UFC in the WWE sense. That's what it is. It's like a rebel,
Sure.
a rebellious.
And I think it makes the
head
fight
nod.
5 rounds, which is cool. I like that.
That's cool. The next one, when we're talking about the young up-and-coming guy that's taking everybody out, Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage, and I don't. It's just Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal is just.
Bo Nickal's gonna murder a man. It doesn't matter who. He's coming. He's the biggest favorite ever for a UFC fight.
Which means you could also make a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
put $10 on him to lose.
it's possible. But yeah, he's. It's rough. It's rough for Cody coming in. Like everybody's like looking at you like, man. The eyes people are gonna be giving Cody like.
Oh, you got to
"You
fight?
okay?"
Who are you fighting? Bo Nickal. Oh. Well,
best.
all you got to do, man, is
Just don't let him take you down, man. Just don't let him take you down.
yeah, stop the best wrestler in the division
Just stuff
with
the takedown.
incredibly evolving striking.
No, just
Like
stuff the takedown.
I guess we can hope like he has some like wacky striking idea, which I doubt, but you know. And then maybe Cody Brundage, probably a skilled fighter in his own right. I don't know. Catches him with something. That can always happen.
Yes.
Bo Nickal gets a little sloppy. Cody throws the perfect head kick. Can happen. But probably not. Bo Nickal, Penn State wrestling, obsessed with striking, training. He's got the best regimen. He's the most disciplined man. He's the most disciplined non-Muslim man in the UFC.
Disciplined non-Russian Muslim.
Yeah, non-Dagestani.
What was it? I was looking at there was a list of champions, and it was like wrestling was by far the most.
By far. It's the most dominant base for MMA.
It's the most dominant base for MMA, and the most UFC champions have been primarily wrestlers. That's
Yes.
like the leading. How do I see this one?
I think for a lot of reasons, you know, like so that there's the simple, which is wrestling. If you're getting hit and you're good at wrestling, you just take them down, change the fight at any time. Once you're down, you can control them for as long as you want and inflict damage. There's that. But there's also, to be a good wrestler, the discipline and work that took, like transcends to everything. It's like Miyamoto Musashi says, see deeply into one thing, see deeply into all things. And this is kind of an example of that, where if you get so good at wrestling that you're a national champion, like Bo Nickal,
Like Daniel Cormier.
like Daniel Cormier, went to the Olympics, kind of like Kayla Harrison.
Kind of like John Jones, even though he never went all the way with
That's
wrestling.
different. That's
Although John
different.
Jones has six striking.
Because what I'm saying is that discipline and work ethic, if you just apply that to something else, like Bo Nickal is to striking, to MMA, like Daniel Cormier obviously did, you'll just get way better than everybody way faster. You're
Yes.
thinking about it better. You're training smarter.
And you're
asking better questions.
I think wrestling has the best system, like a competition system, because you could consistently compete in wrestling,
Yeah.
and the whole goal of a wrestling program at school is competition.
Yeah,
That's
it.
That's all it's
Every
all it's
weekend.
about, which is different than jiu-jitsu, where it's
Yeah.
mostly hobbyists. And jiu-jitsu also does in the jiu-jitsu culture, it's not a very hard working culture as far as like doing a lot of calisthenics and conditioning before and after the actual
wrestling. That's like half of it.
Yeah. So wrestling is number 1, has 28 UFC champions. This is a couple of years ago. This is probably from year 2020. 28 UFC champions, background wrestling, 17 BJJ, 12 boxing, 6 kickboxing, 4 Muay Thai, 2 Taekwondo, 1 karate. You'd think Muay Thai would be higher than boxing.
Yeah, but I don't know how who are they talking to about this?
I guess they're just saying the champions and what is their main background.
Yeah. But like the difference between boxing and Muay Thai is real slick, you know.
That's true.
Most people are doing all of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
And what's not on that list is judo.
Yes, judo is not on that list. So.
Okay, what's our next fight?
Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan.
This is an awesome fight. This is kind of what Tarek's talking about when he says a young up-and-coming guy who might destroy a legend. This is that fight. Charles Oliveira, former champion. Everybody's favorite fighter is Charles Oliveira.
Yes.
He's got the best submissions. He won the title by knockout. He's always awesome. We've seen him evolve in the UFC. We've been watching this guy a long time. He was a young man in the UFC. He's become a full-grown man. Is that what I'm going to say? How can I say that better?
Champion.
What am I trying to say?
He's like
former champion, absolutely in the mix.
He's very present. Yes, very in the mix.
He could fight for the title next. He could fight for the title at any time, and no one has a problem. But Arman Tsarukyan, younger guy, hasn't proven himself. This is his big chance.
Yes. Have you watched Arman?
I'm not sure. Sounds like a guy I've seen highlights of.
Let's see, Arman.
He knocked out Beneil Dariush. That's huge.
I remember that one.
Beneil Dariush was supposed to fight for the title. Came out and knocked him out first round. That was his biggest fight before this.
Joaquin Silva.
Beat Joaquin Silva. Congratulations. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
So he came in big with the Beneil Dariush. And if he does it again in this fight, that's leapfrogging everybody. That's straight for a title in my eyes. Or at least number 1 contender.
Yeah, we already talked about the Gaethje versus Holloway. I think I like Gaethje in this. I think I like Gaethje in this because,
Especially if it's 5 rounds.
Yeah, I think I like Gaethje.
He's so dangerous. He's more dangerous than Max Holloway, I would say.
Max Holloway's a volume puncher. Yeah.
Gaethje has knockouts.
Yes. Weili Zhang versus Yan Xiaonan. So the two young, well, actually Weili is not that young, but Yan Xiaonan is kind of an up-and-coming Chinese strawweight.
This is a great fight. This one is so fun. Every Zhang Weili fight has been awesome, and now she has a legit opponent, Yan Xiaonan, training out at Alpha Male, which is just such a funny thing, seeing this Chinese lady training at Alpha Male. It's like the most American bro place to be.
Alpha bro.
Yeah. Like, you imagine her, like, hello. And so this is a great fight. 2 Chinese girls. I don't know exactly if that impacts the fight much. I mean, they could, like, talk trash to each other in Chinese or something, or they have some Chinese pride going on.
Yeah, not likely that they'll talk trash to each other.
You don't think so?
It's very.
I don't know.
Yeah, they don't do that much around these parts. Yeah. They're very into the martial art respect and stuff, not the flamboyance. But I like the flamboyance though. I like trash talking. I like all that stuff that adds the chaos and the emotion. So it's gonna be a good match.
That's great.
I like Weili. I don't know much about Yan.
She's got to be the favorite. Zhang Weili might be the best fighter in the UFC.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
And then the match of matches. Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. You know what what is it? I gotta look this up though. You know how they talked about Francis Ngannou having the hardest punch at the Performance Institute? Supposedly recently Alex Pereira beat
it?
Francis.
Yeah. Okay. Not surprised.
Yeah, with the hardest punch on some kind of punch measuring machine that they have. Yeah, and then Jamahal Hill. So Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill.
Such an interesting fight. This one's so interesting.
Yes, for the light heavyweight title. Jamahal Hill former champion.
Uh-huh.
So it's strange that the championship had to be, for light heavyweight, had to be vacated twice.
Yeah.
Like Jamahal,
Yeah.
he snapped his Achilles, and he had
Playing
to
basketball.
and he had to give it up. He had to give up the belt. And then Jiri, also same story. He hurt his shoulder and had to give it up.
Yeah. So this is Jamahal Hill's first fight back, and it's a huge one.
Yes.
Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira already beat up Jiri when Jiri tried to make his comeback. So
yeah.
This is the second welcoming that Alex is going to be giving back to the welcome back to welcome back to the light heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamahal Hill, though, I would say Pereira is probably going to be the favorite in this. But Jamahal Hill, very confident.
Yeah.
His confidence is starting to convince me a little bit. Like
he's not scared.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. He's going up and talking to Alex. He has no boogeyman effect. So.
Crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. Jamahal Hill always has a chance. He only has one defeat. He has a very good record. He has kind of a not super razor sharp with the striking, but he has power and he knocks people out. He knocks people out, and he's big, and
he has a real chance.
Yes, I say. Izzy says, Israel Adesanya, he predicts that Jamahal Hill will win this fight. I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. Pereira, obvious favorite. He has the striking pedigree, excellent striking. You just heard he has possibly the most powerful hands in the world.
Yeah, and he's proven himself more in the UFC.
Yes,
he knocked out
Style
Bender.
Yes.
He knocked out Sean Strickland. He beat Jan Blachowicz and Jiri.
Yeah, yeah, and he seems to have no problem with the size.
Like we're like, wow, Jamahal Hill doesn't seem scared. We never think Alex Pereira is gonna look scared. That's not even an option. He's just stone face. Yes, I'll fight everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, this is hard. This is a hard one to predict because none of them have a lot of losses in the UFC. I mean, in MMA, sorry. Hill has only one. Alex has two.
Yeah, and Pereira. So his big loss was to Stylebender. He did get knocked out, so it is possible. And Jamahal Hill, he got his arm, I don't know what it is, like dislocated.
Yes.
A bad
arm bar.
This is why Jamahal Hill, he always like kind of catches me by surprise. He's so high level because in my mind he's the dude who just got his arm broken and I tapped
he was stuck
He
was stuck in a triangle, and the guy just Craig just kept yanking on that arm and didn't let go, and it eventually broke.
Yeah.
Well, it dislocated badly and was kind of flopping around.
And so that image of him just with like a loose arm, just looking at it like, like that just lives in my head. So, like just pretty calm.
Yeah, I wish that didn't happen.
Yeah. Almost like you're saying, ah, shucks.
Yeah. Yes.
I wish I knew what he actually said. He's a very funny guy, so I'm sure he had like some choice words.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. I like Pereira, but this is a close. This is anything goes. I believe this is going to end in a knockout.
Yeah. Two knockout artists who aren't scared.
I believe it. I believe it'll end in a knockout.
Probably no takedowns. What do you think? Takedown?
I think there could be takedowns.
Pereira's
I think if it gets past like the second round, it could start to get a little bit. Yeah, they could start to get a little bit more physical with the wrestling, and especially if either of them is not having much success in the striking, and it goes to the second round, I think some wrestling will be initiated because there's going to be no matter which way you go, you're probably gonna see a striking discrepancy between the two.
Think so?
At some point. At some point it will arise. Yes. So who do you think? Make a prediction.
Alex Pereira by flying guillotine.
Ooh. I like Jamahal Hill by just I don't know, uppercut or
Yeah?
overhand right.
Yeah, he knocks him out.
I think that's the way this fight may end.
Bet all your money on whatever Tarek says.
Let me know if it works. If it doesn't work, please don't let me know. But speaking of Jamahal Hill getting his arm broken, we had it was a Reddit post, kind of unrelated to the UFC. We may get back to the UFC, but just I've always had this problem with arm bars, in that a lot of times guys will not tap to arm bars that I think are pretty extended, and I will let them go. More so than, I mean, if I have a choke, I will try to put all my power into finishing that choke. You know, so with the arm bar, it's a strange thing because it's such a big space, and just the dislocations I've seen are always nasty looking. So if you're competing, so I think when you're at the level of the UFC, you have to break it.
Yes.
At the level of the UFC.
Too much on the line.
Yes. At what point do you not break it?
Such an interesting question, because it's kind of something everybody needs to ask for themselves, right? Because if we're training, obviously you let it go. No matter who you're training with. In any training situation. If you have a fully extended arm and you look at them and they're not tapping, they're not close, their hand isn't raised, they're not like looking at you, you let it go and you transition. ADCC, break it.
ADCC, break it.
You're in 1FC, break it.
What about like
EBI, break it. PGF, $100,000 on the line, break it.
What about?
So these are professionals.
What about like an IBJJF tournament? Like, so let's say national.
Brown and black belt should break it.
What about let's say how low do you have to go in competition to not break? So any brown and black, you say any brown and black competing, break it.
I think it's reasonable. Because the other guy's been in this situation so much that if he's not tapping, it's a choice, right?
It's a very informed choice by the time you're a brown belt. Even like even a purple belt, that's a very informed choice to not tap.
You know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's hard to delineate. So I haven't exactly been in this situation. I've been in this with heel hooks, and I've let heel hooks go in local tournaments. And then I lost. I got strangled for my kindness.
Yeah.
And after that, you know, a lot of people come up to me like, "Oh man, you should have crippled this man." I'm like, I don't think I should have. So I don't know, man. It's a very tricky topic, you know. It kind of depends what your goals are. You know, if it's like a big tournament that's gonna lead to lots of money, which is what ADCC is, what IBJJF can be. Those are kind of the only ones.
IBJJF, you break it.
Well, all the times that I'm in the finals, IBJJF, Moon
Not finals. This is not finals. This is the first match.
Oh, first match? Oof.
But this is what leads to the finals.
I'm getting nauseous.
Are you gonna break the arm or not?
Yeah.
IBJJF. This is your first match. Are you going to transition to something else? Your first match, you could finish it quickly. You know that to be the champ, you have 5 more fights coming.
Me personally, I'd probably transition, because I'm more compassionate than most. If this is someone else asking me what they should do, I just have to say, look in your heart, and in the moment, be okay with either one. You should kind of have it like an open question until you're there in the moment. I think that's reasonable. For example, when I had that guy in a heel hook, I didn't know what was going to happen. And not only did I have him in a fully reaped heel hook, we went out of bounds and they repositioned us in the center of the mat with a fully reaped heel hook. So I had a moment of like, all right.
Set it up perfectly.
Yeah, it was like a picture perfect. Are you going to cripple this man or not? And go. And I couldn't do it.
He just wouldn't tap.
He was not going to tap. And he's like a young MMA fighter. And if I'm doing anything in this world, it's to help support Taiwanese martial artists, especially ones that have a real shot at going abroad and doing real fun things.
You want to take away his hopes and dreams?
Yeah. All I had to do was this. It was just like that. I had his heel, I had his leg reaped, which is illegal in most jiu-jitsu for a reason. You can destroy everything in someone's knee like this. And I let it go. That was my choice.
I've seen in I didn't see this first armbar personally. It was the first tournament that I went abroad. I went to Hong Kong, and I remember after the tournament, this guy, they had him coming out on a stretcher in his arm, and he was like, oh, and I heard somebody just say, yeah, he got armbarred. I'm like, wow, okay. And then once I saw it live, it was here at a Taiwan tournament. I'll tell you who it was later. It was pretty because this guy, purple belt, he had a black belt in an armbar position, and he was just, I think he was just so excited that this was actually happening.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I got this black belt, that he just hipped in, and I just saw the dislocation. There was a moment for the guy to tap, right, and he didn't tap, and the purple belt hipped in, and you saw the dislocation, and it stopped, and the guy had to go to the hospital, and coach was like saying to purple belt, like, what are you doing, man? You got too excited. Like, yeah, just because there was also with the black belt, I think there was a size difference too. I think it was like an absolute no-gi. Yeah. So he was bigger than the black belt as well. Black belt was kind of like a little bit older Japanese guy. It was just. Yeah, I think he got very excited, and sometimes you probably don't realize how little force is needed to actually break something.
Yeah.
You know, if it's in the perfect position, sometimes it's very little force is required. But yeah, he got reprimanded by his coaches. He won the gold.
And was the coach friends with the black belt?
Yes. Yeah.
See, there's always factors involved.
Yeah.
But I don't blame that purple belt. I think I know who it is. Is he a tall ginger man?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it depends on the level. Maybe if there's money on the line.
Money changes things.
Yes, and also you have to have it in your heart to knowingly break something. Not everybody can do it.
Yeah, and if it's within the rules, if it's agreed upon, then I don't see putting shame in any direction.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's part of the rules.
Yeah, it's fair.
As long as you're within the rules, it's okay.
Yeah, it's not cheating.
But me, I don't think it fits in with my life. I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody. But
break that arm.
MMA, ADCC, IBJJF, big life-changing opportunities.
Are there things that you are more likely to break? Like, okay, this is crazy I think it would be easier for me or more imaginable, and it might even be mentally easier to break something in a Kimura than in an armbar.
Why? It's more confusing what happens.
It's more confusing what happens. I don't know why. That position
Kimuras can attack the shoulder, or it can spiral fracture here.
Yeah.
Like when Minotauro got his arm broken by Frank Mir, it was broken here.
Yeah.
Spiral fracture.
It's something about the armbar to me that's uncomfortable.
Armbar is here.
Uncomfortable to me that you're just you have it locked in and your whole body is on the arm.
Yeah.
To break. So I don't know.
I'll end on one thing I saw. I worked for Flow Grappling for a couple of years, working the cameras. Pretty cool job. And I was at ADCC trials, and this is a viral clip that I don't want people to keep sending me. It's been years, and it still comes around every once in a while. A guy in full guard, full Kimura, arm behind the guy's back, kind of shaking, and then all the way up and back. So the arm's here, and then it goes up to my head and back down. The terrible sound. I remember exactly who I was talking to when it happened. The whole room, everything changed. I don't know what my point is with this, but things happen.
Yeah.
Actually, what am I trying to say?
That time where the guy got his arm dislocated, that was the first jiu-jitsu tournament I brought my sister to. So that was like her first view of what jiu-jitsu is people getting their arms snapped. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're about out of time. We'll end on one thing worth knowing. big jiu-jitsu match coming up. Our hero, our Lord and Savior, Yusuff Chen, has a terrifying match against Andy Varela. Andy Varela is 10th Planet Las Vegas. He's kind of stepped in as their head coach. He's under Casey Halstead, but he's kind of running things there. Andy Varela is ADCC trials veteran. He lost on a takedown. He's a terrifying guy. He's gone viral for slapping a dude. ADCC trials, you know what I'm talking about? So the whole clip is this guy sitting guard, and he kicks Andy Varela pretty hard in the chest. But what people are seeing is Andy Varela comes back at him, and super big collar tie slaps him.
Okay.
So Andy Varela, a terrifying guy. He's famous for backflips and just wild submissions. Yusuff Chen, famous for being the nicest guy in the world with the best technique, and no one really gets how or why. This was supposed to happen a couple years ago, and Andy Varela dropped out, and Yusuff Chen went viral for Z-locking Derek Rayfield. Derek Rayfield is Andy Varela's training partner, but on a much lower level. It's much less exciting of a matchup.
Did he pop anything with that Z-lock?
Yes, he popped Derek Rayfield's knee, like sideways. And this is Yusuff Chen. This was his biggest match at the time on Who's Number One. Since then, he's won ADCC European trials. You know, absolutely legendary performance. And this is his, I think, first match since that. So it's incredible. Look it up. I'm not sure how we can watch it. I'm sure we'll try to find it on Billy afterwards.
Do you know where this is?
It's in, who knows? Yusuff Chen, Andy Varela. Do a little bit of research. We'll update you.
Do your Googles.
It's coming. Yeah. Get excited. If you don't know those guys, watch both their matches on YouTube. There's no one more fun to watch than Yusuff Chen or Andy Varela. It's very rare that jiu-jitsu is awesome to watch, and those guys are always awesome. So we'll end on that. We got a question?
You know, somebody said, should he be fighting for the BMF belts?
Who, Max Holloway?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Doesn't say. I asked who. He didn't answer. So.
What's that Bulletproof Toast? You know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, love you guys.
Thank you for watching.
Taipei BJJ. Should we promote rash guards or not yet?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. We're gonna do another round of sales of these very nationalistic rash guards. Send me messages.
Support us. Support Taiwan.
We're on TaipeiBJJ.com, TaipeiBJJ on Instagram. Yeah, let me know if you're interested.
We're here every Friday, 11 a.m. Taipei time. Thanks for watching. Watch some UFC fights, okay?